Welcome back to Sach and Steel. And this episode, don't leave me alone. And this episode, I am going to talk about how to care for your instrument as well as how to clean your instrument. Yes, you need to clean your instrument or else it is going to end up looking rusty like some of the instruments that you can't find in panyards around the country. Very embarrassing. Anyways, don't forget to like, subscribe, and send this video to 10 or 30 friends. Especially if they are a beginner panelist, as they may find some of the things useful. So let's get into the video. So it is not that hard to care for your instrument, and it's not hard to clean your instrument either. When you're storing your instrument, you need to store it in a right temperature, preferably room temperature. Storing your instrument in very extreme temperatures will not be good for it, and it's easy to send the instrument out of tune because if you know, the instrument is made by using heat. You use a lot of heat to be able to get this wonderful instrument called the Steelpan. Therefore, if you use heat, well, if you store your instrument in heat, then
Not making any sense?
Not making any sense. The second thing is, when you're not using the instrument, you should always have it covered. If it's on the stand, you may want to take a cloth and cover your instrument, but what I find is if I have my instrument on the stand with the cloth over it, some small dust particles could still go through the cloth, like the really small particles could go through the cloth, so that when I take the cloth off it, it's covered in dust particles and, well, I have to go through the wiping process and everything. But if you take the instrument off of the stand and you store it in the protective case, then more than likely you're not going to have that problem and the instrument would be safe. The next point is, frontline pans should never be placed on the belly. If you recall from the first episode of this series, where the belly of the pan is, you should not ever place the pan on the belly because you have the potential of denting it and pushing up the belly essentially, which will not be good for the instrument because again, you know, it will dent it and then the notes will not be in tune. So frontline pans especially, you should not put it on the belly. If you're storing it, you should store it with the rim on the ground or on whatever surface that you choose to rest it on. The next point is, when it's time for you to tune your pan, don't go just ponging your pan trying to find the correct note for yourself unless you are a trained professional. Get a trained professional to tune your pan for you and to blend your pan, and this is going to pay off in the long run. If you know you're posting videos with you and your pan not in tune, well, organize. The next point is, do not rest anything in the pan that is not the microfiber cloth and that is not the pan sticks. Anything else apart from those two things has the potential to damage your instrument. I cannot stress this enough. Don't rest your charger in your pan, don't rest your book, pencils, do not rest anything that is not the sticks or the microfiber cloth in the pan. It is going to damage your instrument. Another point, when you're cleaning the instrument, you can recall the last video as well, the last video that I did. You can recall the cleaning, wiping in small circles along the surface of the instrument, along the rim of the instrument, and the skirt and the belly of the instrument. All of that is, again, to clean your pan. However, if you're looking to really deep clean your pan, then you can use a metal... Then you can use a metal polish, which would have specific instructions in it, but do not leave the polish on it there long because then it's going to get dry and hard and you're going to have a really hard time taking that off the pan. Even if you think your pan is really clean, it probably isn't, because I thought my pan was really clean until I put the metal polish on it and then the cloth came out looking dirty, nasty and dirty, and I couldn't believe that that came from my pan. So ever so often you want to use like a nice little metal polish on your pan to take off all the excess dirt and thing that the cloth alone probably wouldn't get. And if you're using the cloth alone, like aside from using the polish, when you're using the cloth, I'd recommend using like a damp cloth, not too wet. You don't want to soak your pan, because having water in and around the pan is also not good for it. It will speed up the rusting process, and then the instrument would be of no use. So you could take a wipe, or you could take a damp cloth and wipe on the pan, and then immediately pass back with a dry cloth on the pan. So these are just some basic tips on how to store your instrument, how to clean your instrument, and yes, don't forget to like, subscribe, and send this video to a couple of friends, and I'll see you on next episode.